Welcome to the Backpacking Exposure podcast, brought to you by the best ultralight quilt makers in the world, Enlightened Equipment. With me today is one of the top backpacking gear experts ever, Devin Ashby. How's it going, man?
Ever? Ever? Man,
I think so.
I was going to ask you if you thought it was actually a good idea to bring me back on the show after last time.
What happened last time?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I was just trying to be sassy.
Okay. I'm trying to rack my brain. I don't know, man. You're one of the best gear experts ever. We're doing a gear episode. So I was telling Devin before the show that I went with one, I'm not going to say who, but with one of the typical hosts of the B&B podcast. I was running through some of the gear companies I met with at the Denver Media Show, some big time backpacking companies. And one of the guys had never heard of them. And I was like, okay, we can't do a gear episode anymore. So I got to bring on one of the best ones ever. So, okay, this is what I consider you, Devin, as one of the best gear experts ever. Do you consider yourself a backpacking gear expert?
I mean, by definition, I guess so. I'm a self-made professional in that realm.
Self-made man.
I didn't get hired to start reviewing gear on YouTube, and I didn't plan to make a job out of it. But I mean,
okay,
10 years of time of testing, and I don't know, you take my professional background in the outdoor industry, I think there's some credential there that maybe gives me some authority in the space. So
okay. You're trying to be humble. I appreciate that. But people want the gear expert. They want to hear what your thoughts are on the gear. But I came up with a test to see how much of a gear expert you are. Are you ready for this?
I have to be.
Okay. Well, full disclosure, I failed this test, 100%. And I bet most people out there will fail this test. And so I mentioned that I was at the Denver Media Show, and I'm meeting with these companies, and they're pronouncing the name of their company, and it's different than how I've been saying it for years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I've been saying it wrong. So I'm going to give you the three companies, and I'm going to know how you think it's supposed to be pronounced. So, okay, the first one is the most popular backpacking chair company, starts with the letter H. Do you know what company I'm talking about?
Yeah, Helinox.
Okay. That's how I said it.
That's not how you say it?
That's not. No.
No.
Yeah. No. There are ways worse. Helinox.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Is that just a semantics thing where is it Teva or Tiva?
That was another one I was going to give you, but that one I thought you might already know, and so I don't know. Isn't it Teva? That's how you're supposed to say it?
I mean, technically it's Teva, but I think the CEO or at least the president of the company came out and was like, "If you want to call it Tiva, do it.
It's fine.
We don't care." Okay.
Yeah. Well, Tiva sounds better, right?
I think so.
And Helinox sounds better.
Maybe if you're granola enough, then you're I wear my Tevas.
Maybe. All right. Next one I got. This is the rubber that's on the bottom of most backpacking boots and light hikers, and it starts with a V. Do you know what company I'm talking about?
Yeah. I would pronounce it Vibram.
Okay.
But I bet it's pronounced Vibram or something.
Vibram?
Vibram.
Yeah. Which again sounds worse.
Yeah, I'm not. No, it's Vibram. Sorry. That's just how it's going to be.
This one makes the least amount of sense. So this is not as well known as a backpack. This is more like a climbing company. It's Mammut.
Mammut.
Yo, you got it right. Well done.
Well, okay. To my credit, I worked in the climbing industry for a decade plus.
Okay.
I managed an indoor climbing gym, and so
yeah.
Yeah.
I've worked with backpacking gear for 30 years plus. I still don't know how to pronounce Vibram, so that doesn't really matter.
How else do people pronounce Mammut?
So when I look at it, it just looks like mammoth.
Oh.
To me. And their mascot is a mammoth. That's why it doesn't make sense. They showed me they had this stuffed animal toy mammoth They're like, this is our mascot. I was like, mammoth. They're like, no, mammoth.
Yeah.
Dang
Yeah.
it. Okay.
That's fair.
Anyway.
That's
All right.
fair.
You did better than me.
Okay.
So I got 1 out of 3 better than me. Okay.
Nice. So then what about the like the cottage company that makes the water bladders that starts with the C? That one always
Oh,
gets.
that's dude. I think I've heard him say it. I think even people from their company have said it different ways. We had somebody reach out from their company because I was complaining about their company one time on the show. I think it's Canuck.
It is Canuck.
Okay. All right.
But I mean, people call it Seanock or
Right.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
Canuck.
I mean, getting into this world of podcasting, I'm very aware of how people brand and things like that. And so I would want to make it as like positive sounding and user friendly as possible. But hey, that's me. So okay. All right. So you put out a video recently. Devin is the host of the YouTube channel Backcountry Exposure, and it was called 2025's freshest backpacking gear you've never seen. And so this episode is inspired by that. And by the time this episode comes out, I don't know if our title will really hold up about gear you've seen here first or heard here first. I bet. Okay, my hope is that there's at least a couple things that you hadn't heard of or hadn't seen that are popping up. And you picked a couple from your video and you got a few other ones. Is that correct?
Yeah. Just because
Okay.
I mean we're still early in the season, and
Right.
this new stuff is still being released and coming out for the year. So I've got a couple that are from the video, and I've got some others that a little bit of a curveball.
Okay. And I like curveballs, so we'll see. So I've got some that you're definitely not expecting for sure. And I think I came up with like 6 or 7. How many are on your list?
I've got 5.
Okay. So I'll go first then, and then we'll kind of bounce back and forth. And okay, so here's kind of the key to this episode is we're going to talk about the features. We're going to talk about like, basically if it's an updated product, what the updates are. But we're also going to evaluate it in terms of our own desire to use the product, personal desire, whether it's for us, our family, people we go with. And so the best compliment, that, at least from my perspective, that I can pay is this is coming on my next trip. And then the second best would be like this might come like pending circumstances. And then the third one is this is best for somebody who does such and such. So at least from my list, I don't have anything that I disliked. So if I dislike something, I just left it off. Is that where you are?
Yeah, but like mine has, like you wrote something you would never use and would not recommend.
Oh, Jay,
I don't know yet.
Sorry.
I don't know yet, but it is in relation to past experience with this brand in the product category that I'm like a little skeptical. I don't know. Like time will tell whether or not I think it's a good piece of gear or if it's a piece of junk like the previous ones were.
Right. And a lot of this gear I just got, so I haven't tested it out. I'm going to follow up with reviews later. So I'm going to talk about, so when I say this is coming on the next trip, then what I'm saying is like, I like what this is saying enough about the gear to at least, to bring it, try it out. This could be something that I bring moving forward. So
cool.
I forgot. So there, I did have the dislike category. I don't think I have anything in my repertoire that I disliked. We'll see.
Mine's probably big enough to cover the both of us. So
okay. Fair enough. All right, my first one is the Thermarest Boost 650 20-degree sleeping bag. I got mine right here. Still
there it is.
In the storage sack right here. All right. So this is an interesting sleeping bag. I feel like, Thermarest is mainly known for sleeping pads. They've been making some bags, but this is interesting because it's got some features here that are not typical for a backpacking type sleeping bag. And if you want to see like the full display of this, you can check out Devin's video because he actually had this one in his video. I'm not a gear expert like Devin is, but from my perspective, this might be the most luxurious backpacking sleeping bag on the market. It's got a center zip, which makes it semi-rectangular, so it's super spacious from like, as compared with like a typical mummy bag. It's got armholes, so that way if you like to sleep with your arms outside the bag, you can do that without having to like cinch down the bag kind of to your, mid-torso. And my wife loves that feature. It keeps her warmer through the night because she does like to be able to move her arms around. And it comes in 6 different sizes. It's got, extra wide or wide or whatever. It's filled with 650 down. It's depending upon the size you get, it ranges from 2 pounds, 4 ounces to 3 pounds, 13 ounces. And it's like a mid-level 300 to 375 price range right there. So what do you think about this bag, Devin?
I have mixed feelings. I have not yet used it, but I've spent some time with it just at home and like playing around with it. My wife
Wait
got
a second.
into it.
Did you sleep like in your bed with this bag?
No, I've just like napped in it or like hung out for a little bit watching the show in the living room.
Wait, what show do you watch with sleeping bags on? Out of
Bluey.
curiosity.
I watch Bluey with my kids.
And do they say, Dad, why are you wearing a sleeping bag?
Dude, it is like an SOP in my house for having sleeping bags or pads out all the time.
Is that right?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I love it. Okay. Gotcha. Um, all right. So, okay. So jury's still out for you. To be honest, like I think this bag is best for somebody who's new to backpacking or camping that wants to stay warm. They don't want to necessarily they don't have to have the most ultralight gear. They're not crushing the miles. I would actually have my wife use this bag, and I think this is a good fit for somebody, or maybe you have like a spouse who's a little bit hesitant to kind of jump into backpacking. Like this is an easy way to jump in a very comfortable way. That's my take. What's your take?
Yeah, I think so. I like the concept that a lot of sleeping bags, I mean, it kind of feels like a race to see who can add what zippers where to make it like do
Right.
fancy things. That's a little bit of what this does. The center zip is interesting, but it's not like the first time it's been done. Nemo has done similar things, and like the armhole situation, like Nortent has a bag out that has the armholes. Sea to Summit has a similar style, but like the Ascent bag has the double zippers that it's pretty semi-rectangular, and it just like
Okay.
opens up as a quilt, like a blanket over top of you,
Right.
which is nice. And then like little snaps that come together so you can like close it but still have your arms out. So that's neat. I don't know if this one does it. I can't remember if it opens up in the foot box. Can you stick your feet out?
That's a good question.
Because like I feel like if you're adding zippers to things, it's not that much more weight to add one more zipper to just like
Right.
provide a little bit more of that functionality.
Right.
I will say that like the 6 sizes of this are really nice, but to be mindful of, I think it's the regular wide version, which is what I have. It is crazy wide. When you open it up in that center zip, it's like 50-gallon garbage bag size. Like it's just this huge
Right.
thing, which
And
I
some
mean,
people
depending.
want that. Like my wife wants that. So this is hitting a target audience for sure.
Yeah, totally. But I think you have to keep in mind that like at some point, then you're competing with like dead airspace, right? And
Mhm.
like your body keeping that airspace warm. So is it as thermally efficient because you have so much space in there? So maybe you don't need the regular wide, and just the like the standard version is enough for how much it
Okay.
opens up. But
Gotcha.
I like it.
Good
I think
suggestion.
I wouldn't call it revolutionary, but I think it ties into a feature set that's interesting and enticing for people that just want functionality and comfort. So
Right. Yeah, and I'd have to get yeah, you kind of name drop some of the other bags. I'd have to look and see, compare the stats with, like are those down bags? Are they similar weights? Because typically when you're getting a semi-rectangular bag, at least historically, you're bumping up the weight
mhm.
more than what this bag is.
Yeah,
So this is actually on the lighter end for the space it provides. So that's my take on it.
yeah, and like I don't know, 650 fill, it's fine, but with the cost of down at this point, it feels like a pretty expensive bag for 650 fill.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like I'd want to see 7 or 800, and it not be
Okay.
and it really not be that much more money. But I feel like Thermarest is a brand that's typically on a higher price point comparatively to other brands. So
Gotcha. Sounds like I like this more than you do, but hey, that's how this goes. Okay. Devin, what's first on your list?
Oh, let's see here. Let's start with, okay, we'll start with the curveball, the one that's
Okay.
not in my video, that I'm pretty stoked about. I took these out on a camping trip at the end of February, which was nice, and it's a new hiking shoe from Danner. So
Oh, okay.
Danner has been like my go-to shoe for hiking for the last 4 years.
Okay.
Love the Trail 2650. Like I did a video recently, like a full, it's like 4 year long term review of that shoe.
You did
But
a
they've got,
4-year review of the shoe. That's a long stinking time.
I know it is. And like shoes are hard to talk about. Shoes are hard to recommend because everybody's
Oh, for
feet,
sure.
they're, they're
Right.
different. And like, it's hard to recommend like, this is my favorite shoe, but it's not going to work for a lot of people because I have tiny little princess feet. And anyway,
But you can anti-recommend a shoe, right? Like if shoes wear out fast, if they break down, then you can say this is, regardless of your foot, like this is a bad shoe. But you're right, it's
yeah,
hard to recommend one for sure.
yeah. But being able to speak to 4 years of continued use
Right.
with one style of shoe, like that was that was fun to talk about. But Danner's coming out with a new shoe that
Okay.
is called the N45,
Okay.
which I don't know a lot of detail on it, but the sole of it is like nitrogen infused, which they say is
Mm.
like one of the first hiking shoes, if not the first hiking shoe focused shoe to have that type of sole. I don't actually know what that means. I don't know like what a nitrogen infused sole is going to do as opposed to like a standard EVA foam or whatever. But I took him out. I took him out on a camping trip,
Engineering
and
question.
yeah, and they were cool. Like they feel they're not as low profile as the 2650, but they're also what's the word? They can be like resold, recraftable. I think is the word that the Danner uses. So like
Okay.
you can send them in and have them like resold with a new
Mm.
sole, which is
Okay.
nice.
That
Like
yeah, that's their thing, right? Is to resell their shoes. Like they've been doing that forever, right?
yeah, with all their boots and stuff. So
Okay.
it's a nice little
When you
touch.
resole it, is it just the outer sole or is it the midsole too?
Just the outer sole.
It okay. And I'm not a boot or light hiker expert, but typically what wears out for me first in a shoe is the midsole, where it's like compressed and it's not providing the same bounce or absorption. And so for me, like especially if it's like a Vibram outer sole, like that's still going strong, and the rest of the shoe could be like destroyed. So is that not true with the Danners?
I don't think it is. And you're
Okay.
kind of getting into the science of like I think the reason a lot of people complain about running shoes or like trail runners as
Mhm.
hiking shoes, because I learned this. So I am uh, friends with and grew up in the same neighborhood as one of the founders of Ultra.
Okay.
And so like I've learned a little bit of the science of like running shoes.
Mm.
And when like running shoes are kind of designed to be alternated between different pairs of shoes to allow time for that midsole to like bounce back and like recover from that compression.
Right.
But if you're like through hiking every single day
Right.
in the same pair of shoes, then
Just bring
like
shoes, man. Just bring a set
yeah,
of pair.
the shoe isn't going to have the opportunity to like bounce back and
Right.
recover.
The check of approval there. Okay. Next one I got. This one I literally just got today. So I haven't even had it. I mean, it was like right before we started hanging out
It's
here.
still in the plastic. It's
Still in
still
the
in the
plastic.
plastic.
Still, yeah, I haven't even done the plastic. Okay, but I'm super excited about this. This is the Gregory backpack, the Paragon, and then the female version is called the Maven.
So did you get the 50 or the 60 liter?
You know what? I got the 70 liter,
You got the
Devin.
70. Nice. Go big.
Because yes, because it's not a pack. So okay, so I'm sure you have the same thing where you have different packs for different uses, right? So
Totally. Totally.
yeah, so this is I mean, I used to have an 85-liter pack, just full disclosure, but this is the pack I'm bringing for either like spouse is coming, spouse and family's coming, or I'm going like ultra comfort, ultra luxury trip. So I still don't know if
Nice.
I'd load it out at this point because my kids are getting older and they can carry a lot of their own stuff. But I'm typically carrying, like the water filter, the tent, and all that stuff. So I want a bigger pack. And so this is meant to be like my comfy, rides well with extra stuff and extra weight pack. Okay, so one of the updates that I was looking forward to is their free float hip belt. They've had that before, but this is one that they added to this pack, which allows the pack to move independently from the frame, syncing it with your body as you move down the trail. And my wife has another Gregory pack that she likes that fits that way. Some of the other updates to this pack, not as big of a connection with me. Like they like worked with Garmin to design a shoulder strap pocket. So I don't know what that means working with Garmin. Did they like measure with them? Like, did they say, this is our measurement? What's your measurement? To make sure that it was compatible with like the InReach Mini or the InReach Messenger. But a lot of people are holding that on their shoulder strap pockets. That makes sense.
Right.
And then it's more feature based with like, quick access water bottle pockets, harness pockets for snacks, and quick stow bungees on the shoulder strap for sunglasses and things like that. And so it's got like a lot of the kind of the bells and whistles that you'd be looking for in a, I don't know, full service pack. But it's not, like the stats on it aren't terrible. So the Paragon can range from 3.6 to 3.8 pounds. So it's still under 4 pounds. And all the packs are under $300. And so, depending upon the size you get, there's low as $240. So it's kind of that mid range for price. But Gregory packs are known to be among the most comfortable packs. And for a trip like that, like this, I'm excited about this pack. And this is going to be going on the next trip like the one that I just described. So
Nice.
what's your take?
I've spent some time with this pack. I have not used it on the trail yet, but I've loaded up with gear and I've taken it into my classroom and used it as an example of a good pack to consider for using on a trip and how to pack your gear and stuff. I think.
Are you wearing this fully loaded while you're teaching?
No. Wait, let me go back. Yes. I've got my headlamp on and like
that'd be amazing.
I'm ready to go.
Well, you're like a backpacking instructor, so it would actually be like that's a good way. You could do that. I mean, I teach 8th grade social studies, and I'm still considering doing that just for extra training. Just
extra training. There you go. In the classroom training. I like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it for a pack that I think checks all the boxes of what you would want out of a pack to do whatever you need it to do. It fits the bill and at a good price point. I am always going to be critical of large mass-produced pack companies like Gregory and Osprey and whoever else fits that bill of like, stop making side pockets on backpacks so tight.
What?
Like,
That's your pet peeve. There's tight side pockets.
It's like somebody has got to go into those corporate offices and just like lay the hammer down. Like, people,
okay.
you can still use.
What can't you can't fit your water bottle or what? Like, you have the grip strength isn't strong enough to like pull it apart, or what's going on here?
Well, like the top elastic. So at least on the Paragon, the right hand side pocket has the lower access to be able to like put a bottle in and out with that little loop thing, so you can like pull it out and easily shove the bottle in there. But the issue is like, I potentially want to put my chair in the side. I have my tent poles, my water bottle. There's no way you're getting like a standard Nalgene bottle when the pack is fully loaded out, shoved into both of the side pockets. Like, the top elastic piece is so tight that once you put a bottle in there, it's like you're not going to get much else in there.
Okay.
And I'm
That
just like,
sounds like a challenge,
people.
Devin, and I'm up to the challenge. So I'm going to report back about trying to fit that in there.
And mine's the 50 liter. So maybe it's different on the
Okay.
70 liter.
Right.
I don't know. But it's just like you get a new pack. You guys have been making packs for decades at this point. Like, come on. Take a note. Take a note from the cottage industry and make your side pockets big enough to hold stuff.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. So I had the one I was using for the same kind of purpose last year was a Mystery Ranch pack, the Radix,
Oh,
and
okay.
I like how the Mystery Ranch rides, but they had a kind of a similar flaw, but it was different. Where it was like they had a strap that went across the front of the pack, like not where your back touches the back pad, but across the front of the pack, and it didn't like typically you have it just along the side, kind of where you could if you have a tent poles, it just kind of cinches the tent poles down. This one went all the
Mhm.
way across. So if you're cinching something down on one side of the pack, you have to cinch it down on the other side. And so it was this like weird design flaw, which made it super annoying. And that
Interesting.
one little thing, maybe not like the pack and not want to use it. And that's why I'm excited for this pack right here. And so yeah, man, like it sounds like a silly little thing, but yeah, if it's not working for you, then that might cause you to not bring it, right?
Yeah, and I think like big brands like Gregory need to stop thinking that, well, just use a hydration bladder. Like,
Mm.
no, no, I don't want to do that.
There's a lot of people that are still doing that. I know that you don't do that. I definitely don't do that, but that's still a thing
You
for
know
sure.
how often I hear on the trail with students who use water bladders of like, oh no, my bladder's leaking.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it
Yeah.
is save them for day hikes. Do not use
Yeah.
bladders
I use
for
them
a
all the time
backpacking
for
trip.
trail runs, but and yeah, I've used them long enough where that's not a problem. But yeah, we've had. I mean, Derek showed up to a trip where he showed up with actually twice, two separate trips, wet pack from leaky bladder for sure. So he's your example right there. All right, all right. What's next
Nice.
on your list?
Okay, next on my list, let's do something that's good for a backpacker who needs a good value jacket that's high performance. And
Okay.
the item is the Cumulus Climalite synthetic jacket. This
Okay, I'm not
is
familiar with this.
Are you familiar with Cumulus?
Should I be? As a,
Should you be? You should be.
I don't know. Okay. I
They're
haven't used
fantastic.
Cumulus stuff. I'll say it that way.
They are a company out of Poland that make sleeping bags, quilts, and outerwear. So like rain jackets, hard shells, down jackets, and synthetic jackets. And the value of their products is phenomenal. Like
Okay.
just fantastic. I have two of their sleeping bags, and they're two of well, one of them is a winter bag that's like a 700-gram filled down bag, and it's phenomenal. But
Okay.
this jacket, it's a synthetic jacket. It's about $200. So it's on par with like the Enlightened Equipment Torrid or kind of
Wow.
in that realm.
Right.
But it is an amazing fit, and it's plenty warm and just like really good performance. And I think it's amazing. They make everything in house, like in Poland,
Okay.
and
So it's not
uh,
American made. It's
it's not
Polish.
American made. It's not.
Okay.
but but it's a really like super high quality product. It's I'm just impressed with what they make. Like I also got one of their new rain shells, like hard shells,
Okay.
and it's fancy pants. Like
Fancy pants, but
I'm
for a good
excited.
price, you're saying.
I'm excited. Yeah, I think
Okay.
a reasonable price. It's a very technical outerwear piece, so it's not cheap. It's like $370.
Okay.
But yeah, this synthetic jacket, if you're looking at like a Torrid or um, something in that realm, like a Arc'teryx Atom, or I don't know, just like a higher performance kind of lightweight technical synthetic, then the Cumulus is totally worth checking out.
Okay. And one thing I should have mentioned is we're gonna have links to these in our show description if we're going too fast or if we're not
Nice.
like reminding you what these things are called. But yeah, okay. Yeah, the tort is made in America, though. Just full disclosure on that one. I don't know that matters to some folks, but I
know it
know you're
does.
saying
Yeah,
in-house.
totally.
In-house is better than outsourced abroad, I suppose. But okay, so
I guess
that's an
like
interesting one.
the benefit here is like, yes, it's made in Poland, but it's like designed in Poland. It's like they do everything in-house. Like they're a very, very technical, high quality company. So
Okay,
you're getting something Polish made, but it's like, I mean, similar concept as American made. Like you're not just supporting some white label piece of junk.
gotcha. Okay, it's not Timu. You're saying.
Right.
Amazon Basics. It's not that. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I got one that you were not expecting, my friend. One that you probably had no idea this would be on the show. And it looks like this right here. What the heck
is
could
that?
that be? All right. What do you think it is?
Crazy Creek.
What? How did you know that? What does it? Did you see the label?
No.
Okay, that is correct. All right, man. Crazy Creek. This is a crazy piece of gear called the Air Lounger. And so, like, the Crazy Creek chairs have been around forever. You've seen people bring them. It's just, people bring them to like sporting events, right? So they just want a back with the straps to kind of just something to lean on. Typically, you're sitting on, a raised surface like a log or a rock with a little bit of padding, or you're sitting on the ground. And this one's kind of next level because this is like a 2-in-1. It could be a sleeping pad or it can be an inflatable chair, which is more comfortable than their typical, like their standard pad. So they say that it fully inflates in 5 breaths. It does weigh 32 ounces. And you saw how compact it rolls up. This would be like another thing you'd have shove in your side panel that you might struggle with, Devin. But this is
that's not going to work. Not a chance.
You're not bringing this one?
Just in the side pocket of the backpack.
Okay, we got to talk about your stinking grip strength. You can't fit this thing in the side of your backpack. Is that what you're saying? Those like hand grippy things. Talking about Amazon stuff. Like you should buy those hand grippy things and work on that like when you're driving around, because I could easily fit this in my side pocket. I could fit this plus my water bottle. That's my prediction. So it's 3 inches. Maybe the plastic is making it look more bulky because I just got it. I'm going to test it out, but it's okay. So it's definitely like, if you're going to use it as a sleeping pad / chair, like it's a kind of a 2-in-1. This could be a solution for you. It doesn't have a strong R value. It's like estimated R value is like a 1.5. So this would definitely be for like warmer weather, and I don't know this is a solution for you, Devin, but this is definitely a solution for me. We do a lot of stuff in groups, and we have a group tent. Like we'll have like a 4-person tent. And so we'll be up late at night playing cards, and you're sitting awkwardly in your tent, but not with this thing. This thing, you can, you have something to lean on, and it's comfortable and it's padded, and you're not like leaning on your elbow or sitting like crisscross applesauce or whatever. So it's inside the tent, outside the tent. You can't bring those like Helinox chairs inside the tent because those stinking things they could ruin the floor of your tent. So $139.95. What do you think?
Okay, I have mixed feelings about the Crazy Creek chairs. Okay. I like this for a lot of different reasons, but also from the perspective of like bulk and weight, it's a hard pass. Like if you're trying to,
for an ultralight trip, of course, right?
Sure, right. But there's a lot of benefits, like what you said, lounging in your tent, but also you have from like, okay, so pretty much anytime I am doing a recertification of my wilderness first responder certification, Crazy Creeks are like part of the curriculum, essentially.
Wow.
They're amazing for like splinting leg injuries and just like having that kind of stuff available at hand for wilderness medicine. Right. So I like that aspect. I do also like the fact that it can be a sit pad for multiple people, because it can like flip out and you can sit multiple people on it, which is nice.
Right. Right.
It doesn't give you the back support at that point. But multi-sport kind of stuff. Maybe you're in a boat and then doing some hiking.
Right.
Like it's
They
not
have
really,
some that are specifically designed for that.
yeah, but like in a canoe, it's fantastic.
Mhm.
Like I
Yep.
know this is the backpacking. It could be the canoeing and blisters podcast. You get blisters on your hands from paddles, right?
We've had canoers on. We had a couple on, and I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I mean Crazy Creeks are classic. They're
Okay.
the original chair.
Yeah.
So
What I
I
like about it is it doesn't have to be for backpacking. It could be for car camping. It could be for
mhm.
just around town type stuff, and it's just something you could throw even in the back of your car. So I think that this
Yeah,
checks a lot of boxes in that regard. It's kind of like multifunctional, multi-use. There's not
totally.
a lot of backpacking gear you're bringing around town, right? But this is something that actually could fit the bill, or camping gear, really, outside of like camp chairs. So
Yeah, days at the
that's
park, going to a concert,
yeah,
going to an outdoor play, any of that kind of
right,
stuff. Super
right,
functional.
for sure.
So what do you? Yeah,
Okay,
I like it.
all
I
right.
like it.
What's okay? So that's your most positive response to the ones I brought up. Yeah. All right. What's your next one? What you got?
All right, let's talk about the new Big Agnes Copper Spur XL
Yes.
tent.
Yes.
Um, I'm putting this in the category of something you might use.
Okay.
Just from the perspective of, because I do so much solo camping, a large two-person tent is a bit more awkward for me personally, unless I'm
Right.
taking like one of my kids with me, or I have my dog and I want that like extra length and width. But
Right.
the reason I put it on the list is I think it fits the bill for potentially a lot of people for what it is, that it is a true two-person size tent, because I think it's a 54-inch wide floor,
Oh, okay.
and it's like I think 92 inches long. Like it's a big tent. And what the Copper
Right.
Spur has had issues with in the past is it's always been a tapered floor. So it's like
Right.
wide at the head end and then tapers to the foot end. So you can't actually put rectangular pads in there, which is silly. I think
Right.
maybe like the long version, or um I'm trying to think. Maybe the long version that they made recently over the last couple of years was rectangular through the whole floor,
Mm-hmm.
but like this is now the XL and it has that fully rectangular floor, which is nice to
They're
see.
obviously like trying to like trim the weight, right, by doing the tapered. But this is not doing that.
This is not doing that, correct?
Right.
So, but they are. It now has like I think they're getting on the train of trying to keep up with Nemo with the Osmo fabric, so they've now got the Hyperbead fabric.
Okay.
That so far with my testing, like it doesn't stretch nearly as bad as like a standard nylon 6 uh, fabric, like nylon fabric you see on a lot of tents. So
Right.
that's pretty cool. But I still have my gripes with Big Agnes. I feel like they get 80% there with a lot of their products, and then they like bump the price up $100 and call it good. Like
Okay.
I'll put them in the category of Thermarest, of like they are always more expensive than their counterparts. Like,
Mm.
and I don't like that, because, for example, with this tent, I have an issue with the way the vestibules like pull tight. You don't have any. It's just a like 3-inch size loop with no adjustment on it.
Okay.
And because like it doesn't let you stake it out far enough, and if you have variable heights in, like, you're never on flat ground.
Right.
So with like variable heights of stuff, like now your vestibule is all like janky and flopping around and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not stoked about that. And that's where I feel like they put line adjusters on the like end panel at the head end and foot end to like pull it
Mm-hmm.
away from the like body of the tent.
Right.
Like, why would you not put those on the vestibule? Just
Right.
like, come on.
So like an easy, okay. Yeah. That's a really good question, actually. I haven't tried this tent, but I have been using the Copper Spur 4-person tent. That's the one I was just talking about, with like kind of being in the large group for years. Like I want to say 8, 9 years now. We've had the same tent.
Oh,
I've used
cool.
it. Yeah. And I've used a lot of tents. And so I feel like I can speak to the durability of tents, and this one is holding up. I
Nice.
actually like wanted to sell it a year and a half ago, because I'm like, this is going to wear out at some point. I want to sell it too soon versus too late, but it's still holding up, man. Like I'm super impressed versus say like REI brand tents, which begin to wear like after use 1. So
Yeah.
there's some good things about them, and they don't wear out. Obviously, you can start to see like wear marks or frays or things like that.
The
So in
zippers
terms of
always have
durability,
gone
like,
bad on my
yeah,
REI
yeah,
tents.
okay. And yeah, I've gone through, and I can find them cheap at garage sales in Colorado, and so if I find one for $10, I buy it, and then I use it. I'm like, oh, this is already wearing out. And this was somebody who
$10.
just said they never used it.
Nice.
So anyway, yeah. So I would be up for trying it, but yeah, and you being the gear expert, me not being the gear expert, I don't know that I would notice that fine tuning of the vestibule. So if that kind of like nitpicky stuff bothers you, like that could be an issue for sure.
I mean, take a guess at how much it costs.
For the 2?
It's a 2-person tent.
Okay. Does it cost $500?
It's $580.
Okay. Yeah.
You're paying $600 after tax.
Yeah, and I feel like all those tent companies are like, it's a new year, let's increase by 20%, right? Like I think it's not just them. I think it's a lot of them. So
where like I could get a tarp tent like triple rainbow, which is a fantastic 3-person tent for $400.
Right.
And it's a polyester fly, like really nice tent. So
I can get an REA half dome, $10. So beat that.
$10.
Garage sale.
Sold.
Sold. I might have to replace the poles, but it's still $10. Okay. Was that the last one on your list? You got one more?
No, I've technically got 2 more, but
oh, okay. All right. Let's go back to I got a quick one right here. Okay, Mountain House, a staple on backpacking trips for decades now, for maybe half a century. They have some new Mountain House flavors here. New flavors. And they said that one of their most requested flavors, which actually surprises me, is pepperoni pizza, or cheese and pepperoni pizza.
Such a bizarre flavor.
Yeah. So they've got that, and then they've got, okay, so there's Korean inspired beef, there's cheesy beef enchilada. I got a chance to try all 3 of these. I just got like a little spoonful. I kind of want to have this like at the end of a backpacking day to give it a full review here. But of these 3, Devin, which one are you most interested in?
I mean, the pepperoni pizza does not sound good. I'm concerned about I'm concerned about the Korean inspired beef, where maybe you have as much flavor as like a LaCroix. You know, those
Mountain
jokes
House
of
hater,
like...
Mountain House hater right here. Oh my gosh, dude! All 3 of these were good. I'm telling you. I'm not bringing these up unless they're good. They're all good. They're all worth having. I tried it not at the end of a backpacking day, but they were good.
I mean, I like anything Mexican focused. Okay. So like an enchilada bowl sounds delicious.
Yeah. That was the best one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That was like, nice. I took a bite of it and I was like, whoa, this tastes like an enchilada. It tasted like not a freeze-dried meal, but something that was out of the oven. So that was the best one. I did tell them they have like a shrimp fried rice. I said, I don't know what your feedback is about these or how you determine how to like retire flavors, but please get rid of that one. That one's like very bad. And they said it's just based on customer feedback. And I was like, well, here's my feedback. But these were good. Like I hope to bring at least 1 or 2 of these on an upcoming backpacking trip. So cool. And then you, let's kind of piggyback on that one. You actually recently put out, I saw on Instagram, like you have a new company that's doing freeze-dried food as well, right?
Hmm. Yeah. So one of my close friends actually has just launched a freeze dried meal company called Trail Goods Co. that has got launched with 4 meals. So it's kind of an interesting story. So his name is Luke. Luke has done like hikes like the Camino. He's hiked the Colorado Trail. Has a pretty cool story. But he actually had been working for ReadyWise Outdoor and was part of
Hmm.
the process of developing the pro meals
Oh
for
yeah.
the ReadyWise line of meals.
Okay.
And then I guess long story short, he ended up not working for them anymore. I think after some restructuring,
Okay.
um, maybe they got everything they needed out of him and said, "See you later." I don't know. I don't know
Right.
the full
Or maybe he
story,
tried a shrimp fried rice and it didn't go so well.
but he decided that he was going to create his own freeze dried meal company.
Okay.
And I like genuinely, I'm not just saying it as his friend or like I'm not being paid in any way. They are good meals.
Okay.
Like the
Do you
recipes.
have an example of one? Like, what can you name one of their flavors?
Yeah. So my favorite is the Loco Moco brunch skillet, which Loco Moco it's a Hawaiian dish that's like
Okay.
a rice, beef, gravy, onions, mushrooms, and eggs.
Okay.
It's amazing. Like
Mm.
super savory, a nice like salty flavor with the mushrooms and the onion, and it's delicious. It's
Okay.
and there's nothing there like you don't really have other flavors like that out there, which is nice. Like I appreciate that he didn't just create like another biscuits and gravy and another stroganoff and another like same thing you see from all the other brands, like another chili mac. Like
Right.
these are different. He has a chili verde, like a chicken chili verde. That's really good.
Okay. I'd eat that.
Um, and like a Cajun. He doesn't call it Cajun chicken pasta, but it's essentially a Cajun flavored, like creamy pasta, and
Gotcha.
it's good.
It's
It's
good.
good.
Okay.
So yeah, check out Trail Goods.
Okay.
Just for the sake of like Mountain House is cool, but they're huge, right? People are gonna buy Mountain House for a long time, and I
Right.
think I think it's so important to support startups and small businesses and Trail Goods. Like, go support a startup and a brand new like small business in the freeze dried meal space. He's a
All right. We'll have
he's a
that.
one
Yeah.
man show. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll try one of those and then I'll do a review on them as well. And then we'll have this link in our show description so you can check them out. Always looking for new flavors and different foods for backpacking. Like, you always want to
Yeah,
mix it up
totally.
for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go back to Thermarest. So this is one that you actually had in your video.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, I again highly unprepared. Just got this right here. The Neo Loft right here. This is one that I'm super pumped about because okay, yes, it's a bulky sleeping pad. It's a little bit bigger than your Nalgene bottle. But as you can see, for those that are on YouTube, it's it's stinking massive. It's so ridiculously big. This looks like the most comfortable sleeping bag that you could like possibly bring on a backpacking trip ever. It's like 4.6 inches of thickness. It's got a 4.7 R value. It's got you can read up about it, but it's got so many features. It's got like side rail chambers to give you like a sense of where the pad's edge is. So you're not going to roll off and it's going to cradle you. And it's, and it, the way it's like designed to minimize cold spots. It's got a twin lock valve system that provides for like precise firmness. And again, this is one of those things that either you're going to bring this like in an ultra luxury trip, easier mile trip. You're going to try to get your spouse out there. And when they see this, they're going to be like, okay, this is legit. And it's going to remind you of those like, pump up bags, like with the air pumps that you could bring car camping. But those things are terrible because they have 0 R value. And this is obviously like meant for camping or for backpacking. So I think you tried this one already, right, Devin?
I have slept on it. I now have
Okay.
2 nights on it. The
Okay.
first night I think was kind of a fluke. Um, because it actually deflated on me.
Okay.
But I think it's because, so it has like the twist, like you open up the one-way valve and it like locks open,
Right.
and I actually forgot to close it, and I think
Okay.
that is why it deflated on me, because the second
Right.
night it did not deflate on me.
Good. That's good.
I feel like sort of like negativity like floating in the molecules
Yeah,
of the
you've
air
been the
right
Debbie
now.
Downer on almost everything I brought up, but keep it going, man. Yeah, keep it going.
I don't know. Like, I think it's important for me to be honest, right? Even
Yeah.
if I'm getting stuff for free for testing, like you got to be transparent and honest. I'm not, like, I know a lot of people are like, dude, this is the most comfortable thing out there. I like I need more time with it, but I'm not sold. Like, it feels so much like I'm sleeping on a balloon.
Mm. But you
I'm
can
not.
adjust, like if was it too pumped up, like you can adjust the firmness, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can adjust the firmness, but like if I compare it to like a cheap, what's the brand, like Intech or something, like the basic like vinyl air mattresses that you can buy at Target or whatever,
Right.
it gives me that impression. Like,
Okay.
I don't think it's as comfortable as people are leading it on to be.
Okay.
That's that's my first impressions with it. But
All right. Well, I'm looking at it and I'm looking at how epic it looks. And
like,
I don't
I
think
know
I believe you.
Justin really likes it. He's
Just
been stoked.
outdoors.
Yeah, he's been
Okay.
stoked on it. So
It's yeah, and I mean, it's obviously on the heavier side for a backpacking pad, but it's not that heavy. Like depending upon the size you get, you're
oh,
looking at
totally.
1.5 to 2 pounds, which again, like it's gonna be heavier than your typical pads. But for that stinking mattress, man, like I feel like it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's just my thought.
Yeah.
Okay. All
I
right.
have
So
concerns about, like, because it's so thick, that the R value is not gonna be as accurate. Like, yeah. I'm not I'm being really negative. I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be super negative about everything. I'm just
that's
not
fine.
sold on it. Like,
You got to be real, man. You got to be authentic, and
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why you're the gear expert. We appreciate that. But yeah, people are gonna have different takes, and like one of the early Thermarest pads that was the ultralight, the Neo. What is the Neo Air? Whatever.
Right. Mhm.
X Light. Yeah,
Mhm.
like that one worked for me for a while, but then when I compare it with something else, I was like, this is lighter weight, but it's not as comfortable. But some people still swear by it. Just different, people prefer different things when they're sleeping. That's kind of what it boils down to.
Right. Right.
Okay. Either way, I'm excited about it, and I'm gonna report back. I'll have a review on that later, and I'll tell Devin that he's wrong, probably. But all
I
right.
text me when you do pump it up for the first time and lay on it. I'd be curious.
Okay.
I'd be curious to
Yeah.
know
Well,
first impressions.
the way that I do it is I don't do it while I'm watching TV like you do. I'm like, I'm just gonna stick and bring it on a trip, and if it works, great, and if not, then I'm stuck with it. So
Oh, Carl,
that's
come
how.
on. You gotta watch some Bluey and like just hang out in your
Yeah.
living room. You'll
I'm past Blue. Yeah, my kids were more like Dora the Explorer, so that was yeah. Anyway, all right. So you said you had one more, I think.
Yeah, one more. It can be quick.
Okay.
It is the Big Agnes Sweetwater 43 backpack.
Okay.
So it appears as so the Big Agnes has completely abandoned all of their previous like first generation backpack models that they came out with. It was like their flagship introduction to backpacks, and I think it was a huge fail for them
Oh.
from what I gather.
Okay.
I mean, the feedback is not great. My experience with I think it's the Prospector 50 was really bad. Like, hard pass. Not a good pack. The hip belt was
Hmm.
way too big. It was
Okay.
super rigid and just not a great design. So
Hmm.
I was very excited to like see an introduction of like a new pack design. And this one, seems to be a bit more promising. Like,
Okay.
I think they've taken a good amount of the feedback from people about hip belt sizing and the torso sizing and just like the feature set. And I'm pretty excited about testing this. So I've loaded it up with about like 20 pounds of gear so far, and it has a good fit. The best style straps for the suspension on the shoulder straps is really nice. Doesn't have hip belt pockets, not the end of the world, but
Right.
I guess you get that with the stretchy pockets on the shoulder straps.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. Like, how many stinking pockets people need? Like, I get the hip belt pockets are nice, but if you have the stretchy shoulder strap pockets, which I love, how much junk are you stuffing in there where you would also need the hip belt pockets? And how much, I don't know, like people are just putting so much stuff on the shoulder straps
Yeah.
that it becomes almost like like you can't even access it all. There's so much stuff.
Right. You have as much
Like
stuff
clutter.
on the shoulder straps as you do inside the pack.
Right. Eventually it'd be like, there's gonna be no like capacity in the backpack. It'll just be like a vest you're wearing with massive shoulder straps.
It'll just be a
So
front pack with hip belt pockets on the back.
yeah, it'll be, instead
Like
of
a
like a
rear
baby
fanny
Bjorn,
pack.
it'll be like a backpacking Bjorn. All right. So you're excited about this pack, but you haven't taken on a trip yet, correct?
Haven't taken it on a trip. It'll go on a trip later this month, and I'm hoping that it's just like a nice redemption for Big Agnes after the fail. That I mean, they're big packs, like the like 63 liter. I think it was I think maybe of the better of the packs that they made for the larger ones. The Prospector was a
Right.
huge fail. Like, I still have mine and I have no desire to use it ever.
Okay.
And but their day packs, like I have the 20 liter and the 32 liter, and they're
Mm-hmm.
great. Like that 20 liter day pack, I forget what it's called. It's awesome. Like, it's a great day pack. So I'm a little
Gotcha.
surprised that it looks like that's discontinued as well.
Yeah. We don't talk about day packs a lot on our show. I know people use them a ton, but yeah, that's interesting. Okay. All right. So we'll see with this one here.
That's my
I got
list.
one last one, and this one I was hoping to surprise you with something. And this one, there's no stinking way you could predict I'd have this one. And this one I actually have tried. I got it early enough to try out a little bit. It is called the Heel Virtual Dog Leash.
Okay.
Do you have a dog?
I do.
Oh, yes. Okay. So the Heel Virtual Dog Leash. Let's see if I can find. There it is right there.
Whoa. That's expensive.
Okay. So this is not, I actually didn't even know these things existed. And the representative from Heel was like, oh, we're not the first one out. And so I was like, okay, well, I didn't know this is really cool because when you go backpacking with a dog and they're on leash, like they could, I mean, a lot of people leave their dogs off leash, especially if they're well trained, but they can run off and like, a snake can get them, or they can go, go after a wild animal and just bad stuff can happen.
Totally.
And so, yeah, so I like the idea of this, not having to hold a leash. That part's cool. But what makes this one different than the other ones is that there's like a radius button that you can set anywhere from, I think it's like 10, 15 feet all the way to like 750 feet. So if you're talking about like your dog is around camp and you're okay for your dog to be kind of off leash, but you don't want to wander too far off, you can set that distance. And so, and then there's 3 like correction modes. There's like a vibration, there's a sound, and then there's of course the shock. And the shock isn't like a, like harm your animal shock. I shocked myself and I was fine. It wasn't that big of a deal. But from what I gather, a lot of the animals respond best to the sound. You have to train your dog on this. So like, giving them treats when whatever you're like buzzing them and they come back and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, and my dog's not the best, I'll be honest. Like, it's not the best trained. And yeah, I was able to train it pretty fast when I tried it out, and it was able to follow along with me. And I think I needed a little bit more training time with it, but this like 100% worked. I'll have a video out about this later to kind of show me trying this out just around my neighborhood. And it's lightweight. It is, it's a solution if you don't want to hang on to the leash, basically. So I thought this is a cool option for either walking your dog or just straight up backpacking. So
that seems
what do you think about this?
cool. It's pricey, but I mean, if it
Oh
has
yeah.
all the
Oh yeah.
if it
Like
has all the
it's
tech
a
to be able to make it work, then I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I think it comes in. I think full price it's $399. So you're right. It is on the high end. It's like this is a premium device here. So this is something like if you're a dog person and if backpacking with a dog or taking your dog on long walks or just wanting to not have to hold a leash, like this is for you. If you're more of like the dogs around the house, you never go for the for the walk, then maybe this is not a solution for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a premium product. Like it's what I like about it is that it has these features, but they're very user friendly. The user manual is very small, and it's very simple to use because I get annoyed very fast by learning new tech gadgets all the time. So this did not annoy me. I was fine using it.
Nice, excellent.
So yeah, so I would recommend this one, and I've already used it, so that there's kind of my endorsement there. But I'll have more time with it later.
Cool. Sweet. Dude.
Okay. That was a lot. That's a lot of gear, folks.
That was a lot of
gear. And hopefully there's something that was new for you. Devin, I got 2025 trivia right after this. The trail is calling your name. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Our good friend Roan from Summit Strength can get you trail ready. Roan uses rock solid evidence to design a specialized training program just for you. There are plenty of cookie cutter programs out there that will get you only halfway up the mountain. Make it to your adventure summit with Summit Strength. The link to your success is always in our episode description, but you can check out all the information you need at summitstrength.com.au/online. It's time to be strong and pain-free for your next adventure.
I'm ready.
All right, so 25 trivia themed after like new gear being released in 2025. This has nothing to do with gear. This is just kind of general knowledge about 2025. So we'll see how you do.
Okay.
Number one, which of the following is not a festival or convention happening in 2025? A, Dreamforce, an AI event. B, the Future of Everything Festival, exploring trends and innovations. C, time traveling convention for all current and future time travelers.
Current and future.
Yeah. So which one's not a festival or convention in 2025?
I don't know. I'm just gonna throw a B. I don't know. B sounds.
You're not even processing through this. Like you're not.
B
you need to commit to this trivia, Devin. So we just learned that Devin believes time travelers are real. So because time traveling was the correct answer for
how do you know that how do you know that I'm not time traveling?
I don't know for sure, but I'm willing to bet.
I knew what the Crazy Creek was, right?
You did, but you didn't know if the Big Agnes pack was good or not. And like if you were a time traveler from the future, you would have already had that answer.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
I don't know that. You're right. Okay. All right. Number two. The year 2025 is actually a perfect square. What is its square root? A, 45, B, 35, C, 1012.5, or D, 4.
Is this a trick question? Or is this actual math? Because if it's actual math,
but it's like a common sense. Like, for example, like 4 squared is 16, which is not close to 2025. So I'm hoping you can eliminate that one, but that could still be the right answer. So I don't want to.
45.
45 is correct. Correct. Well done. All right. For the win, of the following movies, which one will not be released in 2025? A Karate Kid movie. B, another Jurassic World movie. C, a Legend of Zelda movie. Or D, a movie called 50 Miles, Lord Willing, a backpacking and blisters documentary.
Didn't the documentary just get released?
It did.
So
in January.
That one.
That one's not going to get released in 2025?
No, Karate Kid
got released.
We'll go with Karate Kid.
Karate Kid's a fair guess. That's what my wife guessed on this one. But it's actually Legend of Zelda. That's coming out, though. That's coming out. It's not 2025. It's like 2030. Yeah. Yeah, they're making more Karate Kid stuff. Isn't that crazy? So
crazy.
You just learned something about 2025. There you go. And so did all of us. All right.
Nice.
Tidbit section is saved specifically for what you have coming out, what you have coming up, anything that you want to share. I know you've got some good stuff. So what you got?
I have been hard at work for the last couple months. It's part of the reason you've seen a slight reduction in the number of videos I've been putting out, but I've been just slaving away at the sewing machine. Just
The sewing
married
machine.
married to the sewing machine. I for a while have been running an Etsy store selling accessory ditty bags, food bags, like electronics, toiletry kit kind of stuff. And I am launching a new website as well as launching my bags onto Garage Grown Gear. So
Yes. That's big
I'm
time.
hard at work fulfilling an order for Garage Grown, and my bags will be at least a small selection of what I will offer is going to be available on Garage Grown, and then my full selection will be on my new website that I'm hoping to launch at the end of the month, the end of March.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well, congratulations. So yeah, like let us know when it's out. I'll throw a shout out. We'll post some links on our show for sure about that. But that's coming up in.
And you could get on, just go to backcountryexposure.com.
Okay.
And just sign up for the launch announcement newsletter that I'll send out. I don't like to. I'm not going to spam people with a bunch of emails, but like get on the list, because right now you can't buy any of my bags. Like my Etsy store's on vacation, and I'm waiting to just get all this stuff launched. So
okay,
but it's exciting. I'm stoked about it.
All right. Well, yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. That's really cool that you. I mean, getting it on Garage Grown Gear is big time, because they sell a ton of that stuff. So
yeah, I'm really excited about it, and it's a little bit different than like fabric selection wise and design wise than some of the other like accessory ditty bags, zip pouches and stuff that you see on there. So it fills a need.
Okay. All right. Anything we can look forward to on your YouTube channel or anything else you got going on?
No, I don't really have anything that's like substantially like standing out to me of what.
Okay.
What
It sounds like you need suggestions. You want YouTube video suggestions?
Yeah, I need suggestions.
Okay. Let's see. If you if you have like negative words that typically draws in a lot of folks, you could call a video "Why I Hated All of Carl" from Backpacking and Blisters. Your suggestions for 2025. That's a kind of a long title. That's not very good. How about just a picture of me, you pointing at me, and the word "wrong"? Like that could
Carl is wrong about all of this.
Yes, constantly wrong, but we'll find out, because I'm going to be trying this stuff, and we'll see. So
yeah,
all right, we'll have links to all of these things in the show description, as well as to Devin's channel if you haven't checked his stuff out. He, like I said, he's a gear expert. He proved it today. He had more information, detail, and he got this stuff earlier than me, which that by itself is revealing. So Devin, man, thank you so much for joining the show. It's always a pleasure to talk gear with you and to get your expertise and to hang out with you and to talk about sitting around in sleeping bags and pads watching kids shows. So that
just
a highlight for sure.
You'll enjoy it. Just go watch the camping episode of Bluey and thank you later. It'll warm your heart. It'll warm your heart, and you'll be able to test gear at the same time.
Okay. And shout out to the Landmark Project. I don't know if you can see, but for those that are on YouTube, I've got this shirt from them. It's got like all the national parks on the back. Here, I'll show it real quick.
You can do it. They're nice.
They're big on national parks. Shout out to them. Have a good week, everybody, and God bless.